Hello and welcome to the first King George V College AS Music Harmony 101 video. This video is about major scales. The aims of this video, I'm going to demonstrate how scales are built. We're going to build all major scales up to 4 sharps and 4 flats. And I'm going to give an easy way to remember the keys and figure out key signatures. So how do scales work? Well, we use tones and semitones to build up our scales. And I'm going to use a guitar fretboard and a piano to show you this. The blue arrows show a tone. You can see that there is a note in between those two notes. And so, for example, on the guitar, we have F to G, and between that, we've got F sharp. On the piano, we have C to D, and between that, we have C sharp. And it's when there's a gap in between, we get a tone. The red arrows here show a semitone. So on the guitar, we're going from B to C. On the piano, we're going from C to C sharp. That's when there isn't a gap between the notes. The major scale pattern is built up of a series of tones and semitones. So we get tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And if we looked at this on a piano, we'd get C to D, which is a tone, D to E, which is a tone, E to F, which is a semitone, F to G, which is a tone, G to A, which is a tone, A to B, which is a tone, and B to C, which is a semitone. So that pattern tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone is in any major scale. So the C major scale and the scale degrees we would call C1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A6, B7, and C8. And they're the degrees of the scale, the numbers that are associated with that. We can apply Roman numerals, and these will come in really useful when you do your harmonic analysis and any sort of classical music analysis. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1 again. And there's the pattern of tones and semitones, just to superimpose on there, just to reiterate that it's built up of tones and semitones. So building scales made easy. Why does it work? Well, building another scale, let's look at another scale, not just C major, but let's look at G major. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Does our pattern still work? Well, yes, it does. We have a tone from G to A tone from A to B, a semitone from B to C, a tone from C to D, a tone from D to E, a tone from E to F sharp, and a semitone from F sharp to G. And that's how we build up. That's why we get sharps and flats in scales, so that pattern still remains through all of our scales. So let's look at how we build scales in sharp keys. So scales up to 4 sharps. Here's all the scales up to 4 sharps. We've got C major, G major, D major, A major, and E major. So this is a process known as a circle of fifths. We take the fifth of C major, which is G, and you can see G major is our next scale with 1 sharp in it. Our F sharp is kept in the next scale, and the fifth of G major goes into D major, and we add in the 7th note, gets sharpened. And that carries on, so every time we move the 5th note to the starting note and sharpen the 7th degree, we get that built up of major scales. How do we remember this? This is circle fifths, the 7th sharpened in the new key. So how do we look at this in key signature terms? Well, the 7th note can be found easily by finding out the key can be found easy by finding out what the note above the last sharp added is. So remember, C major has no sharps or flats, but this one does. So here we have an F sharp. The note semitone above the F sharp is G, and that gives us G major. So let's do it with this exercise. We have C sharp. The note semitone above C sharp is D, so therefore it's D major. So how about flat keys? Flat keys are slightly different, and they still have a pattern to them though, and it's a pattern of fourths. So we call this the circle of fourths. So we take the fourth note of C major, we get F major, and you'll see that begins, and then the 4th note is flattened of that scale. The 4th note then becomes the starting note of the next scale, and the 4th note is flattened again to E flat there, and then the 4th note becomes the starting of the scale, and so on and so forth until we add those flats on. And this is the circle of fourths. The fourth's flattened in each new key, and the fourth also becomes the new key. The major key can be found by looking at the second to last flat in the key signature. If you just remember that C major has no sharps or flats, and F major has a B flat, then we can have a look at this key signature, and we can see that we have an E flat, and the flat before that in the key signature is B flat, and that gives us B flat major. Here we've got an A flat added in. E flat was our last flat before that, so therefore we have E flat major. And they're just easy ways to look at your key signatures. So the aims of this video were to demonstrate how scales are built. We built up all the major scales up to 4 sharps and 4 flats, and we've given an easy way to remember keys and figure out key signatures.